This is Mark Hill, author of The Secret to Prosperity. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the richest man in the world and why he drove a little Honda. Why did the richest man in the world drive a modest used Honda? Now, the richest man in the world currently is Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon.com. He's worth around $100 billion. Back in 2009, he was worth $9 billion. Still very, very wealthy. So he was being interviewed by a reporter for 60 minutes, I believe. They visited his office. The reporter took a ride with him in the car. And one of the questions the reporter asked him was, "You're worth $9 billion. Why you drive this used Honda?" And Jeff Bezos responded, "This car is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine." Then they went to his office. Had a very modest office, nothing that most people would imagine a multi-billionaire CEO would have. It wasn't a high-rise penthouse office overlooking the city or the ocean or anything spectacular. It was just a modest office with no view and a lot of used furniture. A lot of his desk was old and scratched up and looked like something from the Goodwill. But I want to focus more on the car. You see, vehicles are probably one of the biggest liabilities and expenses that prevent the middle class from graduating up to the wealthy class, to the rich class. Most people stay stuck in the middle class because they spend too much money on depreciating assets such as cars, brand new cars, trying to look the part, symbols of success and status. Everybody can learn from the billionaire Jeff Bezos. Focus on getting rich instead of actually trying to look rich. Most people who look rich are not rich because they're too busy focused on looking rich. Focus on growing your money instead of just showing your money. Bezos was focused on building an empire. And you have to be focused on building your empire. Stay focused on achieving your goals, not making the auto industry rich. It speaks to his intelligence, his discipline, his imagination. It's all about your accomplishments, not your things. Things mean nothing at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter what kind of car someone who's very accomplished has, or someone who's really financially free. They don't need symbols of success to prove they're rich. The way they live, the things they accomplished, proves that they are rich. Cars and other fancy luxury items, that's just icing on the cake. That can come later. There's nothing wrong with luxury. But that comes later. That should be far down on the priority list. But too many middle class and poor people put it number one on the priority list. Looking like you're doing well, looking rich is number one on too many people's list of priorities. Right now, the average monthly car note is probably around $600 when you $600 or $700 when you add in insurance. I mean, if someone invested, you don't even have to be that creative or hardworking and start your own business. If someone, and I mean, I encourage people to, it's good to have your own business, but even if someone just wanted to work and just invested $500 a month, drove a modest car for about 20 years, just a normal regular car, get the person from A to B, invested $500 a month over 20, 25 years, they would have close to $1 million, $700,000 or $1 million. Just investing in basic S&P 500 exchange traded funds. Not even being a great stock picker. I mean, stock market goes up around 9-10% every year. Or if someone is starting a business, they could plow that extra $500 a month, $600 a month into their business every month and help it grow faster. And the reality of the situation is the car industry is oversaturated. I mean, you're really not impressing anybody with the typical car out here. Everyone has a nice car now with easy credit and lease options. Almost anybody with a heartbeat and a pulse and just breathe can get approved for a brand new car now. An average car now costs what, around 50,000 just for kind of a mid-level, decent car, but it's not making an impact, not impressing anybody. So a lot of people are just blowing 40 to 50 grand, trying to impress people that they're not impressing anyway. And let's say you do impress somebody. Impress strangers for what? They don't care about you. They're not helping you make those monthly payments. They're not going to help you get rich. So my advice is get the cheapest. I mean, if you have to have a car, you don't have any mass transit or in your city or nearby. If you have to have a car, just get a used car, get a very modest car, the cheapest car possible. You can pay it off. If you can't pay cash, pay it off in a year or 2 years. And just do proper maintenance. A typical car with proper maintenance will last you 20 years or more. You can get at least 200,000 miles or more. 200 to 250,000 miles on a typical car. Don't fall into the trap of blowing your money on fancy vehicles. Sacrifice the luxury in the beginning, in the early years. And then later on, you can drive whatever you want. You can live however you want. You'll be financially free. And just learn. Don't learn from other people's experiences. Learn from other people's experiences. I can confess, when I was in my early 20s, I had the Corvettes, Jaguars, several other most popular big SUVs. And that stuff means nothing at the end. It feels good for about the first 4 months. And then you start realizing, oh, it just feels like any other car. I'm just getting A to B. And if it's a really, really nice car, sometimes it attracts the wrong type of attention. and it just becomes a hassle. And then you start thinking about what else could I be doing with my money? That how I could be growing my money instead of putting it into this depreciating asset. Luckily, I woke up in my late 20s, and I realized that it was a waste of using materialism and cars, fancy vehicles to try to look the part. Why not just put the money towards investments and business and actually really get rich in reality instead of looking rich? I woke up in my late 20s. Some people never wake up. So it's best not to even fall into that trap at all. Start investing early. Start putting money into your own business early. By the time you get into your late 30s, mid 30s, or early 40s, you'll be rich. You'll be financially free. And the interesting thing, though, now I'm at a point in my life I could go out and get any car I want. Once you really get to a level where your finances are doing so well, and you can actually afford anything you want, cash money, you don't really want it anymore. You rather just keep the money. You don't have anything to prove. Not saying that rich people never go out and buy nice things, but the desire just isn't there as much as when you don't really have the money. Most people you see with the fancy luxury cars, it's all on credit or it's leased. The really rich people who are rich in reality, they don't care. They really don't care. They'll do like Jeff Bezos and just drive a modest used car. And then when you're really rich and you have a lot of assets, you don't want the unwanted attention. You don't want the people in your face. You don't want the people in your face sizing you up financially. You just want to be left alone because you're comfortable in your own skin. You're really rich. You don't have anything to prove. Now, will I ever go out and buy a fancy exotic car again? Or a luxury car again? Possibly, but it's just not a big priority. And Jeff Bezos isn't the only example. You can look at Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, some of the heirs to Walmart. One of that Walmart heirs drives a pickup truck. Buffett drives an old used car. Zuckerberg drives a used Acura. His wife drives a Honda. There are plenty of examples of. And when you see Zuckerberg on TV, he doesn't even wear a watch. I mean, there's so many examples of wealthy people living very modest. So if these billionaires are out here living modestly, and if someone's not a millionaire, someone's middle class, and they have no reason, they have no business trying to look rich or indulging in the luxury vehicle. Absolutely no business spending money on luxury vehicles, because that's how you stay middle class. And then sometimes it even forces people to drop down into the poor class. And really, what's the difference between middle class and poor? Not much difference, except the middle class people have more credit to buy fancier toys. Most middle class people with the fancy toys are 3 or 4 paychecks from dropping down to the poor class, to poverty. 3 or 4 paychecks away. They say most middle class people don't even have $1,000 in the bank for any emergencies, financial issues that could come up. So this is Mark Hill. The lesson of the day is focus on getting rich, not looking rich. If you're not a millionaire yet, a multi-millionaire, I would say. If you're not a multi-millionaire yet, don't worry about those luxury cars.